Welcome to Bolotor, where we explore the wild with outdoor and travel enthusiasts. Today's guest, a fishing powerhouse. Born on a Minnesota dairy farm, she's been hooked since 6. Now, she's a full-time content creator, traveling across the Midwest and Canada, chasing the perfect catch. From DIY fishing tips to gear breakdowns, she's teaching anglers how to reel it in while keeping it real with her community. You've seen her on YouTube, virtual angling, and social media. Now she's here on Bolotor. Let's dive in.
All right, I'm here with Nicole Stone, and I'm reading her bio on the pregame, and there's one of those people just you get tired of reading it, not because it's boring, because she sounds like a person that does a lot. She wants to eat the dessert before the meal. I don't know if that makes sense. Anyways, but she atmospheric science, and she was going to do that, and then you pivot into you're like an outdoor influencer, but also you're a business person. Let's go back. I want to kind of know what the algorithm built you a little bit. Where are you from? You're from Minnesota, but I want to know what mom and dad do for a living, and then I want to know why atmospheric science. Take it away.
So I am from central Minnesota, and I grew up on a dairy farm. My parents were small town dairy farmers until me and my brother left, and then they're still farmers. But the dairy aspect, every day is work. So working was part of our existence. I think that definitely rubbed off on me because I like to be busy and doing things, because that was what my whole life was. And then also as a farmer, you love the weather. So like weather was a huge part of my life as well. I loved storms. I was one of those kids that, people are scared of storms and tornadoes, and I lived for it. Like that was the most exciting part of my day, was checking the weather in the morning to see when we get the next round of severe storms. And I think, all that stuff as a farm kid, that's part of it. You're always working, you're busy you're with your family, you have multiple different things going on to work on the farm. Plus I was obviously going to school. And then, the weather, right? Like every farmer knows the weather better than anybody but a meteorologist. And so all that stuff played into me going into meteorology school out of high school.
Makes a lot of sense. And that the work ethic as well. Were you a member of, was it HHH? Is that what it is? HHH? What's the outdoor, you're a lot of farmer kids, are a member of it's like agriculture and animals. And
oh yeah. Yeah. No, I was never part of that. I guess I was just always busy on the farm and in school, and into sports. So
yeah, I heard, like farming stories, like, like in summertime, I had a friend who he would work out in the farm, and he would work out there all day, and his mom would bring him his lunch out in the field so he could have his lunch out there and continue to work.
That is definitely the farming life. I think, especially when you think of dairy farming, and my parents they did the crop side of it. They obviously did the dairy farming. They had cattle that they would sell for meat. So like, it is just a life. Your parents are always home, and you're always home with your parents, if that makes sense. But like, you're always busy working because your home is your business.
Right. So you go to, hey, look, you got a little guest back there. It's all right.
I was like, Alex.
She's waving. There's somebody walked behind her, and she's waving. He's like, I'm doing a podcast. Get back here. It's all right. Look, he's dressed up cold. Everybody's dressed up really cold out there. He's wearing like this cap because there's this like cold front coming in, and we're all the whole country in the middle part of the country down from where I'm in Texas to where you're up in Minnesota. Minnesota's gonna be like, oh my God, it's gonna be like 10 below out there. What's gonna happen real quick?
Yeah, it's going to be well below zero for most of the next week. That is typical here, overnight lows. And that was my husband that walked through. Sorry, I'm like, podcast. I made a podcast.
That's all right. Did you work out in the cold on the farm growing up in Minnesota? Speaking of the cold, I mean, did you have to work out there during the cold season, or you guys took breaks during the winter?
In the farm? Oh, and in a dairy farm, it's working 24/7. I mean, which was like good. There's perks and there's cons, right? So up here, we're used to having temperatures go below zero. This year, I think for like most people, has been relatively warm up until this week. And just kind of on the farm, if you have to go scoop a shed and get rid of all the calf shit, you have to go do it. Like there's nothing, my dad would be scooping out the manure spreader 30 below on Christmas. Like you don't have a choice. But also, like I said, it comes with the trade-off. Because my parents were always working, but they were always home.
That makes sense. Yeah,
it's just part of that lifestyle.
Dairy farm never sleeps. You don't have
A
season.
dairy farm never sleep. No, I mean, the cows have to be milked morning and night. And if we did do a vacation, we had to hire someone to come in and do all those things on the farm while we were gone.
Okay, so little Nicole has a great work ethic. She decides to atmospheric science or whatever. You go up to North Dakota. Wow, are they known up there for their atmospheric science school or something? Or is that why? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, UND has a huge atmospheric program in general, and they have like a huge aviation program. That's how that's housed, world known. And then, so yeah, because they have such a huge aviation program, they have a great atmospheric science program, smaller. So it was a good fit. I think most meteorology kids think of Oklahoma, but that one is another kind of small niche, well known for the Midwest. And it was a great experience. It really was.
So you get your degree, you come back to Minnesota, like ready to go, and you sit at your desk. I'm paraphrasing the story here, and then you're like, you know what? Screw this. No, what happened? You came back, and what happened?
When I was working in meteorology.
Yeah, well, you pivoted a little bit, right?
Yeah, so I was working for the North Dakota Ag Weather Network at the time. So just a state agency. Let's put this into context. For weather, what I did with an atmospheric science degree is I worked on instrumentation, and I started doing it in the clouds. So we take planes through clouds and take measurements. But that was my research, and I loved it, but I get really sick. I mean, the turbulence in storms is insane. So I just couldn't stomach it. But then I took that information and that experience, and I went and worked on like a big mesonet, which is, in simplest terms, where your temperature measurements are coming from and wind measurements and all your climate measurements. There's someone running the hardware, right? And so that's where I was for quite a while. And I did love it. I loved the people, but I started dabbling in the outdoor stuff because a lot of it was sitting in a vehicle and sitting in a desk. And like I said, I grew up very active, and as much as I wanted to love a desk job, it wasn't really for me, like in the repetition of it all. And so I started doing stuff on the side. I taught myself how to build websites and blog. And then I started dabbling in a little bit of the social media stuff just because I figured I had to learn it. And I wanted to be like a lifestyle blogger, but I don't do anything other than fish. So then
it
became a fishing page. And that was never, I think a lot of people think when you start out with something, it's like intentional, right? Like you're trying to be a fishing influencer. And for me, it was nothing like that. It was, I'm trying to learn social media because I need to do that to grow. And I want to be a lifestyle blogger, but all I do is fish. So this is turning into a fishing page because that's all that people are paying attention to. And that's kind of how I got to where I am, where fishing has definitely dominated. That's what I do for a living now, is things around fishing to some degree or another.
So what really, what started your growth? Like what really was what moved that needle, you think?
I think in the beginning, it was just having it was really just having a lifestyle of posting all the time, making connections, learning a better skill set, like doing all this tech stuff, which I learned in meteorology and then could learn it here, really helped grow. So like I could really help grow my skill set, and then I could offer it. I could go to a business and be like, I'll promote you with my social media that's growing, and I'll also do your website, and I'll also do this for you, and I'll fix your software issues. And so they're like, okay, we'll pay you because, you're not just promoting us, you're also helping us with all these issues. And so that started it. So I was able to leave my job, which I did love, but it's, when you work for the state, you're capped at like a certain point.
Right.
And I wanted to be able to make do unlimited things and know I could make unlimited money. And I think everybody in their own businesses, that's why they're there. They want to run their own show and see how far they can go. And that's how it started growing. And then the fishing stuff, I would think I would be speaking for everybody. In 2020, life was tough for a lot of people. The fishing world blew up. Anything outdoors, right? I'm assuming the same for hiking, camping, all that, because people were locked up. And so there became a lot more opportunities for fishing influencers and wanting to use them and help pay for their trips and pay them. And so then the fishing influencing side really blew up for me. And it's been great. I have a great girl that works for me now, and I have all these opportunities to travel. And that 2020 definitely helped in all that, when people realized there's a whole other market, and it's the outdoor world.
How about atmospheric, having that skill set? Is that like a little superpower that you have with fishing, or there's nothing really that helps you out with? Is it just, am I reading too much into that?
I think if understanding the weather helps me catch more fish, I think it helps me know the best times to fish because I know when a system's coming in, I tend to find that certain times fishing is a little better. Like after a cold front, it tends to be worse. There's always people catching fish somewhere, but I can definitely put my effort into going out when I want to and when I think it's going to be good versus having to grind it out because I'm out there after a cold front and it's 30 below and the fish aren't biting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I have that opportunity as a weather person to kind of plan accordingly. So
Meet the Bolo Pack, the ultimate travel companion that transforms into a hammock, a pop-up tent, and even a cooler. Whether you're hiking, camping, or chilling at the beach, the Bolo Pack has you covered. First up, the Bolo Pack is a sleek, compact backpack, perfect for day trips or long adventures. Need a break? With a simple pull, the Bolo Pack transforms into a relaxing hammock, perfect for catching your breath during hikes. Planning to spend the night? The Bolo Pack also converts into a pop-up tent, giving you shelter wherever you go. And the best part? The Bolo Pack doubles as a cooler, keeping your food and drinks fresh for hours. Let me show you how easy it is to switch between modes. First, the hammock. Just a few simple steps, and you're ready to relax. Next, the pop-up tent for quick shelter setup. And finally, the cooler function, ensuring you stay refreshed on the go. From day hikes to weekend getaways, the Bolo Pack adapts to your needs. Whether you're chilling, camping, or keeping your snacks cool, ready to upgrade your travel game? Get your Bolo Pack today and take your adventures to the next level. Link in the description.
You have a little bit of a science there that maybe other people don't, and that's your own little thing, and that's kind of cool. So now you started off fishing in the Minnesota area. Yeah?
Yes, I grew up fishing. It's part of the farm life. I mean, we bathed in the river and we fished in the river and we, kayaked in the river. And then we got a small boat when I was like 12 maybe and started trying the lake. So it was always just part of my life. That's why when I was trying to be a lifestyle blogger, that was my lifestyle. So I didn't really.
I won't name his name, but we just had somebody, I think he's in the Minnesota area, it was Wisconsin. He specializes in ice fishing. Do you ice fish a lot?
Yes, that's my number one thing. Who was it?
Oh, I don't know if I should say it. I'm sure it's okay. I'll tell you in a second. We'll give him. He won't mind. It was just recently. It was. We talked about the Chinook. The fish is a Chinook.
Oh yeah. Who was that?
He specializes in that. He's like the guy that is like that's his thing. Is was it Michael Ridge, I believe. Michael Ridge is.
I know him. No, but I'm sure that's awesome. That's definitely its own niche over there too.
Yeah. Michael is so happy chasing the keen eye of that. Well, he well, I don't know if it's Michael Ridge. Could be some. I'll look it up. We'll have my talk in the pregame about it. He was it Pete Mena.
Oh yeah. Yes, I know who Pete Mania is, the musky guy.
Yeah, we get plugged to both those guys. Okay, Pete Mena. Now that's it. Okay. Professional fisherman for any species, specializing in the muskie.
Yes, I know who that is. I don't know him personally as we talk all the time, but everybody knows and respects him. So very cool.
Little shout out to you, Pete. We just recorded him a couple days ago.
That's awesome.
Know his name, but he he's a good looking older guy. It looks like Chris Christopherson, and he was wearing this he was wearing a Santa Claus kind of hat, but he knew everything about ice fishing. And these guys will go on the ice and they will he says that there's ice fishing fish houses, that's what we call them, that are 10 by 30 or 12 by 30 feet. Yeah. You can have a dozen people in there and it's like a house and it's like have a little party going on in there, drinking party or whatever. Have you done that?
Yeah, that's absolutely. So up here, I would say northern Minnesota is the king of ice. They call it ice castle fishing. There's a bunch of different brands, but yeah, hard house fishing. And it's like camping. It's luxury camping on the ice for most people. It's glory. It's amazing. And there's stoves in there and some of them have fireplaces and leather comforters while you're fishing. And it's very, very popular. I would say this cold stretch we're about to go into has been exciting for everybody because that will mean they can stick their hard houses out and start camping out on the ice in luxury.
I'll tell you what, I would be that guy. I would be the guy watching the Minnesota Viking games and having a little party and ice fishing. That sounds like a lot of fun. You could cook in there and have a good time, have a little party. That's and you've done all that. That sounds like a whole subset of fish. Cause I've talked to a lot of bass fishing guys. And that's a whole totally different vibe, you know? But that ice fishing world is a unique, funny world, I think.
Oh yeah. It's to the people that didn't grow up and live it. It is very fascinating to people, like driving vehicles on the ice. Like I've had to work with different film crews that have come up from the South and they haven't ice fished, period, let alone drive their vehicle on a frozen lake and know it's safe. You know what I mean? So it's definitely its own world. I think in the Midwest, it's such a part of our culture that we don't even think about it. But whenever you have someone from the South come, they're just mind blowing.
So, what are some of the dynamic things that since you've started this journey, and ice fishing is your main thing, but you fish outside of that,
Yep.
I mean, you got a lot of followers now, you're also on your website is like, you're like helping people with business and stuff. You got your own unique thing going on. What would you say are some of the pantheon when you go through these milestones? One is, like, say, what are some of the interesting things that you would say has happened since you started this journey? You said, you left that desk job and now you started doing this.
Yeah.
What would you say are some of the highlights?
Oh, I mean, I think taking trips. I get trips all over the country. I've been to northern Manitoba and some of the most beautiful areas, fishing for some of the most exotic freshwater species. I've gotten to go all over the country. I've been out to Cascade, fishing jumbo perch. Like those are the highlights. They're taking trips that I maybe wouldn't have financially invested in that I now get to experience as part of my job, as part of a paid opportunity that I can take my friends and family. Those are highlights and kind of a wild part of it. You're getting paid to go on these trips that other people, they're their bucket list trips. Yeah, I would say that's a big highlight. The other thing is just, I think with any business, like hitting financial milestones, knowing you can keep going. And then also maybe milestones in the sense of this is part of it too. There's highs, there's lows, there's times you're going to screw up, there's times you're going to lose business, there's times you're going to lose opportunities to someone else, but that doesn't mean you won't get one later. And I think most people starting off on this, if I could ever say anything from that, what I've learned from being that girl at the desk dreaming is the lows come with the highs, and the people that continue to work through the lows are the ones that end up high. You know what I mean? Like if you quit every time you feel like it's over, you're never gonna be up there. You're never gonna make it. You just have to figure out how to get better and work through those things and keep going. That's really what it's about.
Absolutely. And on that note, if there's any nuggets that you can give, somebody's in their car right now, they're driving and they're going, dude, I would love to do that. I would just love to just kind of segue into like an outdoor, venture, or, just some kind of, side biz like that. What are some, somebody that wants to do that? What are some nuggets you can give them right now?
I am nuggets, just advice, right?
Absolutely.
I think first is in today's world with our technology, you need to really connect with people. That's going to be number one. And connect isn't just throwing out random stuff every day. It's really providing value to the best of your ability and then connecting with these people personally as much as you can, especially in the beginning, because they're the ones that if you earn their trust, brands and stuff are going to pay you to, I hate to say sell, but like educate them and sell them things and influence them. I mean, we get influenced by stuff every day, TV shows, banners, going to the store, there's something influencing our buying decision. And now it's on our phones and our computers. So like, if you want to start there, you have to start by putting your time in to the people, providing value, whatever way you want, and put it on all the platforms, because that is the future. It's going to continue to go that way, and communicate with these people that way. And once you start doing that, you start to build an audience. I would say another nugget would be just the sustainability of it all. Slow growth is good growth. I think people think go viral. Everybody dreams, I'm going to go viral. Well, going viral, if it goes viral to the wrong audience, it's not going to do anything for you, except mess up your algorithm and mess up the people it's starting to get served to. Really focus on community and connecting with people, and the opportunities are endless. And I think as things change in the media world, smaller and smaller groups of people are going to have, more influence. It's not going to be just a mega entity with, influencing everyone. It's small groups, whether you're taking people on I'll use fishing because that's the world I'm in, a fishing clinic and it's in person, or you have a small social media account, but you take time for everybody and you can prove that you can convert. There's just endless opportunities. You have to start, you have to sustain it. And you really have to connect because that's where it's going to be. When you provide value and connect, there's a lot of opportunities you can jump on from that.
Those are good. That's good stuff. Where are you at today, right now? Like what's going on with you in the next couple of weeks? Like what's current events with you?
Well, more ice fishing. I'll be doing some different ice fishing across hopefully multiple different areas in the next 2 months. I'm hoping to do Manitoba, big greenbacks. Fishing in Manitoba is incredible. Maybe a little bit in North Dakota, a ton at home here. Northern Minnesota, I like to go out 3 or 4 times a week at a minimum and crush some fish. I'm a mom, so I fish from during the weekdays, noon to 4.
Mm-hmm.
But when you have water in your backyard, you can do it every day.
Right. That's your office.
That's my office, and maybe make it back out to Cascade, Idaho for some jumbo perch, depending how fishing goes out there. And that's kind of it.
You have to film all those.
Fishing.
You have to film your sessions, right? You get like a little tripod out there and one of those things that kind of follow you, one of those self-following, kids are at school and you're like, got to go down to the river or go down to, and then just do some fishing and, and then talk to the camera and, put on your little cordless mic. You do all that and you got it. That's your work scope of work, right?
Yeah, it is 100%. Then blog and write and submit content to brands and do some tech work if people reach out. It's a lot of fun and it's a lot of variety. So it is kind of a dream. I'm very fortunate that this has become my life. So
it's fascinating because, I'm older than you, but you can't imagine. It's like, wow, look at how great that is. You're able to go do that and you make a living at it and it's fun. And you're sharing your experience. I mean, that's extraordinary. Long-term, what are your long-term, plans? What do you want to do? Do you plan out long-term in advance like that?
Yeah, I like to have ideas and some work and some never work. So that's part of it. I would so if everything's been going smooth with, working with different brands and being like a fishing content creator. So I'd like to keep growing that of course, but then I've started selling a lot of products, I've started selling some products. I've sold plenty of them now where I think I might dabble into more of my own manufacturing and selling. Me and the girl that works for me have been experimenting with things with we have stone boxes we sell, which are really just refined tackle boxes to protect your tackle and to help with organization instead of the mess everyone seems to have. And that's been going so well that I'd like to really focus on that and expanding that because I have a lot of fun with kind of coming up with adjusting my own products or finding my own products for resale. And I'd like to grow the e-commerce side because it is very enjoyable. And then I also make content for myself for that, right? So it all plays together.
Outstanding. Sounds like a lot of fun. You're having a good time. Nicole, tell everybody how they could find out more about you.
You guys can find me all over the internet, Nicole Stone Outdoors. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, or X, formerly Twitter, and YouTube. And you can find me at NicoleStoneOutdoors.com. And I also contribute to an app called Virtual Angling, where I have a bunch of tips and tricks on that app. We actually did the software for the app, and then now I just contribute to it. So you can find a lot of tips from people there, especially if you're looking, into getting into fishing. It's a good resource. So yeah, and you can buy my boxes at stonetackle.com. Nice.
You're doing the 360 experience, doing the whole thing. I love it. It's great. That's awesome. Sounds great. Thank you so much for sharing. Great stuff.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us. Gear up for your next adventure and head over to Bolotor.com to check out the amazing Bolo Pack and their other innovative outdoor gear. Catch you next time.